right, so let's preview the English Premier League games coming up this weekend. The biggest game that will definitely be headlining the rest of the games will be that game at the Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea will be hosting Liverpool. Liverpool going into that game at the back of a defeat away in Istanbul against Galatasaray in midweek. Don't forget that also in the league, they lost that to Crystal Palace at the Selhurst Park in, under certain very, very, unfortunate circumstances. And that was how come they lost that game. But then they'll be taking on Liverpool, and Liverpool are flying high. They've won 5 out of the 6 games they've played so far in the Premier League this season. But then against a Chelsea side that also lost to Brighton and Hove Albion in the Premier League on match day 6. So what do you make of these two teams? I'm here with Forrest. He'll be telling us what he thinks. I'll also be sharing my idea and also my expectations of that game. But then also it's open to you to also let us know what you think. Who is winning, Chelsea or Liverpool? Let's hear from the Chelsea fans. Let's hear from the Liverpool fans as well. Atiga, you're a Chelsea fan. So per sentiment, which you can't detach from this man, you would definitely go for a Chelsea win.
No, it's going to be a tough header.
I didn't say it will be a tough header. You are going for Chelsea.
It's going to be a tough header. If you know, or if you see, or if you have watched the Chelsea that we see this season, there's no way I'm going to stick out my neck for them to beat Liverpool. You understand? Because if you see what we have seen, there's no way that I'm going to vouch for what's the name?
Liverpool, Chelsea to win.
For Chelsea to win. And remember that for the past 3 matches that we have played, we have gotten a red card. You understand? It just tells you our disciplinary issue. So it comes into effect. And every single match that we have gotten a red card, we've gone on to lose. So it just tells you that we can't play with a man down. And it's likely that against Liverpool, we might get a red card again. So generally, I don't think that it's going to be an easy match for Chelsea.
Right, but let's look at the two teams, especially not even from the Champions League perspective. Of course, in the Champions League, Chelsea won 1-0 against former manager Jose Mourinho's side Benfica, and then also for Liverpool, they lost. But then they are coming into this game at a back-to-back or consecutive defeat. Crystal Palace in the league and then Galatasaray in the UEFA Champions League. And for Chelsea, yes, they got a win against Benfica. So who has the mental edge or the confidence now going into this one?
Liverpool has the confidence because remember they lost to Newcastle, a match that they shouldn't have lost.
To Crystal Palace.
Yes, but they lost 2-1. But on the totality of what we have seen this season, Liverpool, prior to losing to Newcastle, has got 5 matches unbeaten.
But they've not been convincing.
No, it's not about being convincing, it's about getting the points. So if Liverpool is getting the points without being convincing, well, imagine what is going to happen if they get convincing.
And that's how they lost.
They are turfs that are difficult to go win at. You understand? And it was a poor defensive play that made it possible for Newcastle to have the 3 points on that day. But what I'm trying to say is that if you compare the league season for Liverpool and Chelsea, there's no way that you're going to say that Liverpool are going to be inferior compared to, because Chelsea has lost against Brentford, they've lost against Manchester United, they've lost against Brighton, and these are winnable matches. So for you to have gone to lose 3 matches in that span, and then they were humiliated against Bayern. So it just tells you that when it comes to confidence, then Liverpool should be more confident in their ability compared to what the position that Chelsea find themselves in.
Interesting. But for Chelsea, what would they be doing? Because I saw Tariq George start, and it was the most bizarre and the strangest thing you'd ever see, from Enzo Maresca. Looking at the fact that there was Joao Pedro who got himself sent off in that game against against Benfica. But that has no bearing on the league. But for Chelsea, it looks like the quality is beginning to drain, especially after that injury to Cole Palmer.
That injury to Cole Palmer and then Delap. You understand? But I think that what is affecting Chelsea right now is their desire to want to send Jackson to Bayern. Because it has made their striking position a bit lighter. I am not a fan of Nicholas Jackson because in as much as he's a very good player, he's not a good centre forward for me because he's got other qualities that a striker should have, barring the ability to score goals. But even if you have Nicholas Jackson there, you would have put a lot of fear in a position because he does almost everything correctly. You understand? He doesn't score a lot of goals. But on that note, I would say that the attacking options have been limited with Nicholas Jackson gone, Liam Delap off injured, and then Cole Palmer as well injured. But when it comes to the totality of play, I think that Liverpool has got much more quality, especially in the attacking third compared to us, because they've got Ekitiké, they've got Mo Salah, they've got Cody Gakpo, they've got Isak now, one of the best strikers in the league last season and this season. So you can say, per what we have seen, Liverpool has got much more quality attacking wise. And then in the goalkeeping department, there's no way that you're going to compare Sanchez to, Alisson.
I think he'll be out of this game, perhaps.
Who is going to be out?
Alisson.
Oh, okay, Alisson is going
from Wadashvili.
Okay, so all-round quality, Liverpool is ahead of us. You understand? You would have to admit, should Chelsea spring an upset, that is fine. But on totality, I'm going to say that Liverpool has an upper hand on the day, and I'm more confident going into the game.
But we are looking. Let's take a look at the Liverpool attack. And for me, I think it was just disastrous on their part to have brought in Ekitiké, who was banging in the goals. Then they decided to break the bank again and bring in Isak. Now you're looking at these two strikers. Chelsea would only wish they had even one of them up front. But do you think it's still going to work for these two players? Assuming they are even paired up front against Chelsea, you think they still stand a chance? Because against Palace, we saw how they struggled. Against Galatasaray, they both were missing. You think this is where it starts, gelling up for them?
No. Against Galatasaray, they created a lot of chances. Against Crystal Palace, they created a lot of chances. You understand? I mean, we have seen great strikers paired together. I mean, at Chelsea, you saw Shevchenko with Didier Drogba. You saw
Hernan Crespo.
You saw Herman Crespo. You saw what's the name? Nicolas Anelka there. You understand? So
Didier Drogba.
You saw, and then you go to Madrid. You saw what's the name? Karim Benzema and Higuain. You go to what's the name? AC Milan. You saw people in Inzaghi and then Shevchenko.
Exactly.
So we've had teams that have had great strikers compete for the same position. Sometimes one will start. Sometimes both of them will start. So it is a good thing to have quality strikers, because one might get injured, one might get a red card. I mean there are tactical tools here and there. So on that front, I will say that it is a good thing to have both Ekitiké and what was the name?
Ekitiké.
Nkatie, right?
Ekitiké.
No
Ekitiké.
And then Alexander Isak. So it doesn't spoil the soup. It just adds to the quality that they've got.
Thank you. All right, but let me quickly take your prediction before I ask my viewers also to predict.
I think it's going to be a 2-2 drawn game.
Chelsea are the winner.
No.
Liverpool are the winner.
No.
Interesting, but then
it's going to be Liverpool winning, but I don't see Chelsea.
All right, so Atika says he doesn't see. He's actually a Chelsea fan. He doesn't see, but I see Chelsea causing an upset because Liverpool are going nowhere, honestly. But then let's also hear from you in the comment section with your prediction. Chelsea against Liverpool, Super Sunday, a huge one for both teams. And if you're a Chelsea fan, perhaps you can rep the blue color, and if you're a Liverpool fan, let's also hear from you. Subscribe to the channel, like, and also share the content. Bye.